All right, before we head out, it's Monday. Same thing we do at the end of every show on Monday. This time it's a little bit tougher, I would say. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 6-4. They're coming off a 13-10 loss. Everybody and their mother is losing their mind about this football team right now. The fans want everybody gone. They want Mike Tomlin gone. They want Matt Canada gone. They want Kenny Pickett gone. They don't even want Mitch Trubisky out there. They want Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback. They want Najee Harris benched for Jaylen Warren. Everybody, there is a billion things that the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base wants. They sit 6-4. They fall below the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North race. They're now a game and a half behind Baltimore and a half a game behind Cleveland. Where do you stand with the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Week 12?
Man, I still think that, despite my better judgment, I still think this is a playoff team. That this is a team that can at least make the postseason. Mostly just because this schedule is real favorable. We said the same thing before the Cleveland game. I'll say the same thing after. I mean, it is not encouraging to lose to a backup quarterback in any capacity, but I mean, they won't face a defense like this again down the stretch of the season. You get 2 games against Arizona and New England. You get to play Indianapolis as well. Cincinnati with a backup quarterback twice. I mean, Seattle and Baltimore are tough, but they sit at 6 wins right now. 4 or 5 wins, 5 more wins are certainly within reach. So it's probably going to be all you need to get through a crowded AFC and into the playoff picture. So I'm certainly less optimistic about their ability to win any kind of games in that once they make the postseason. But for the most part, I mean, most teams you want an invitation to the dance.
Yep.
You just want to get there and you see what happens. And I think the Steelers can certainly get there. Even as they're currently constructed, I don't think they have to get a whole lot better to get to those 4 or 5 wins that you maybe need to put you over the top. So I'm still saying playoff team. We'll see how it goes in Cleveland next week, but right now I'll stick with firmly a playoff team, playoff likely. I'll say.
I like playoff likely. I think I sit in the same spot. Like, a really bad game against Cleveland is not great, but the Steelers are going to do something. Like, they've climbed their way to 6 wins. They're not going to just end here. It's not like they're going to finish the season with 6 wins. That's just not going to happen. So I could see them winning. I could see them winning at least 3 more games, maybe 4 or 5 if they could pull them out. And then Baltimore at the end of the season, I don't care what anybody says, it's Baltimore, and they always play Baltimore tough. And, maybe, just maybe they could squeak by. And you also don't know where Baltimore is going to be at that point in the season. Like, you could be looking at a backup Baltimore team because they're already they already won the AFC North, and, there's really nothing else to play for because your playoff spot is locked in, and you could be playing a bunch of backups. I think the Steelers are still a playoff team. I just think that every week that passes that they don't put up a good performance, and I think that's all it needs. You go to Cincinnati next week and you put up 26 points or something, you're right back in this. We're sitting here and go, that's it. That's what they needed to do. You do that twice, and like the expectations go through the roof. But until they do that, just like you said, like once they get into the dance, I don't know what happens, but I don't have very optimistic feelings about what's going to happen. I still think that they find their way there, and with the way the AFC is shaping out, I mean, they could certainly walk themselves into the playoffs, and until somebody else steps it up like Buffalo or whoever, you could just continue to think, hey, this is a playoff team and they're fighting from behind, but they're still in there, and right now they got a playoff spot, and I don't expect it to change. Again, as we get closer to the end of the season, we'll start talking playoffs more and more, but man, dude, for right now, you walk into the playoffs with this team and the way they're going, imagine getting like Kansas City round 1. Yikes. Big yikes. But I've seen crazier things happen, and all you got to do is get there. Mike Tomlin talks about that all the time. And it's only week 12, so there's 6 more weeks to try to figure this out. And as crazy as that sounds, that's a long time to turn things around for an NFL football team.